Here's another late development, and this news keeps coming in as we're talking here.
All right, welcome, boys and girls, intellectual minds and the sloths of the world. We welcome you guys to the Books and Beyond Male Book Club. This is your host, Heero, and I am joined today by the likes of these elegant gentlemen. We have Rob, and Black just disappeared out of nowhere, so,
I'll be back.
He got the headphones, and of course we got the one and done JB. Good luck with that jersey on today, baby. You showing a lot of hope.
Hey man, we gonna ride it down, man.
Hey, I feel you.
Tell me how the rest of my day go. I'll let y'all know how.
Hey, put it in the group. And what we try and do here is enlighten the intellectual minds and try and reach out and show that, Black men, we out here doing good things. And we got last week's episode up right now. The link will be popping up on the screen and also in the description below. Our review is going to be The Spook That Sat by the Door. We're going to be reviewing chapter 6 to 10?
11.
I don't know.
No, it's 10. It's 10, bro. It's 10.
It's 10. Yeah, 6 to 10.
Yeah.
JB.
Come on, Jeremiah. You one of the great math minds.
JB over here, he's an overachiever. It's just part of his nature.
The whole book.
Yeah.
Yeah, his great math mind. He should know how to count to 5.
Some people in this group have already read the whole book, but we ain't saying no names. We just gonna keep it the same. And real quick, we're gonna go through, how our week was. Rob, how'd your week go, man?
Man, this week went by so fast. I don't even remember it, to be honest. It was cool. This next week about to be something serious for me from a working perspective. But outside of that, I spent a little time with the fiance, so that's cool. But hey,
we all got something for Sweetest Day. JB, you get something for Sweetest Day? What you get? Because you're the married man. What's up?
We don't do the gifts on those days, man. I'll be like,
but you do stuff on Valentine's Day, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Hey,
that's the most we do.
Okay. Hey, you know what? I ain't mad. I want something on both days. If you're watching this, you want to be. This is part of the application process. What you getting me? Black, how was your week, man?
All right, so from this point on, my week is all repetitive. I do the same thing every single day. Every single day. I go to work, I load trucks, I come home, I be a dad. Every single day.
Hey, there
Sometimes I eat off Uber Eats or I cook.
Superman.
That be the difference in my day, if I'm cooking or Uber eating it.
All right, well then, shoot. Every week we just gonna check and see what you have for dinner. Make spice it up. Sometimes.
Hey, what you cook this week?
Cause you know I'm a chef. And I ain't even cooked this week. That's the crazy part. I ain't cooked the damn thing all week. My daughter and them been making pieces and shit by the time I made it home. Matter of fact, I did some potatoes on Monday. I think that was. I made some smothered potatoes and smothered fucking pork chops and some corn, some sweet corn.
You lost me with the pork chops, my brother.
No swine, my brother. No swine, my brother.
Yeah, but I'm gonna eat that pig, bro. So what I do is I put bacon grease in there to make my gravy. So instead of using butter, you know how people use butter, I use the fat off the bacon, the grease from the fat off the bacon. I fry that up, and then I use that with my onions and shit. What I put in my gravy, I ain't gonna tell y'all the whole shebang bang, but yeah.
That's where that post came from. Talking about y'all use butter, I use bacon grease.
Oh yeah, I use bacon grease instead of butter, bro. So let's say I'm making pancakes, bacon grease. I'm anything I'm putting on that skillet, I'm using bacon grease.
Yeah, I know that.
It's gonna add that flavor.
I appreciate you for letting me know.
Yeah, it's gonna add that flavor. They got turkey got bacon grease. Help you do stones out. PDs.
Well, for what it's worth, that's been our week in the review, man, and we are. Oh wait, my week was.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
my week,
JP too.
week, my week kind of just revolved around just Black was out here pressuring me to get this video out. So like that, now that I have my templates out, Black was holding people's feet to the fire in the group chat. That's what my week revolved around, watching Black just harass folks about.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out when you were
Reading
going
the book. What?
He was gonna upload the video the day of the new video. I'm like, oh, okay.
Now that I have the little template, it's gonna be drag and drop, so it's a lot easier for me. But like that first video is always tough because I have to be somewhat creative. But after that, then it's just drag and drop. But hey, if you watching this and you in the group and you ain't on the screen right now, Black coming for you. This is a warning. Like, run.
Yeah, I already be texting them. I be trying to see who where. And then they bought the book and barely read.
Hey, if you bought a book you can't read, there's Audibles. You got week trials. If you got Amazon Prime, they give you. There's a little handy function on the browser. It's called Read Aloud. If you got the Chrome browser, it reads to you in a British accent, which is the one I like. But neither here or there, man. Let's get to this book.
I needed that Black man that was reading to me.
Hey, that Black guy, he puts it's something about the culture. He's been there. It sounds like he's been there.
I don't want no white dude reading no Chicago accent.
I want Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Alexa to add Samuel L. Jackson, so I can only talk to him.
Samuel, this is crazy. All right, so let's get to it. Chapter 6. JB, opening thoughts on this. What? I'm not even gonna lie here. Shit don't get real till chapter 8, 9, and 10. Chapter 6 and 7 were sort of a build-up. But JB, what were your thoughts on chapter 6?
Chapter 6. This the one when is this the one when Joy he back with talking to Joy a little bit?
Joy comes back around chapter 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I need refreshers on the chapter because I know so I ain't keep up with everything.
Was when he started going to
actually, no, Joy's back in chapter 8. Chapter 6 is he travels to the east. When he goes to the east, he talks about his travel. This is with him, and this is chapter 6 was sort of like the build up with the general. A lot of stuff was going.
6 is when he got into it with the driver.
No, that's 7.
No,
bro.
that's 7.
Oh, that's 7.
That's 7 when he's about to go. The general. So 6 is when he talking to the general, and I did take some notes on that. He was talking about how so much more developed the white man is than us, and how far behind we are, and almost making it seem like it was our fault, like it's our fault that they more developed than us, and we just good athletes.
Don't forget we danced the same
he
too.
Added, he danced the same too. That was straight up sarcasm from him. That was sarcasm.
That was sarcasm 101. It was so crazy to read this, because you would have thought that up until this point, Freeman made it sound like he was prepared for this conversation, like he knew that this is his thought process. But his visceral reaction when he got sick, when he had to excuse himself, get sick. But it never dawned on me that he had the first gaffe where he talked about, he mentioned a French wine, and he had to reserve himself because he didn't want to make. That was to the senator, and he didn't want to make himself seem like, I'm sorry, but let me put it on him to do it like that. So Rob, what was your feeling towards this conversation? Like, did you think this was gonna happen? I thought for some reason he was gonna do an awakening for the general, but after 5 years of being at this facility, he had accomplished almost nothing as far as progression and growth.
Well, for me, chapter 6 chapter 6 took me back to our conversation last week where you brought up this whole concept of access, right? Mm. And they're having this conversation where he's basically bashing an entire group of people. And it's like, in my mind, it's because, we don't have the access to these things that you have. You have this ability, if we have the ability, but you kind of hide it from us, like the person who has the ball and say it's my ball. And I thought Freeman was going to educate him, because it's just them at dinner, them too.
Yeah.
Like, you could,
but later on you see why he don't, right?
Yeah. Freeman always plays the long game.
Yeah.
It's cool, but I feel like me personally in that situation, I would have to educate.
No, absolutely. And Black, do you feel? Black, do you feel educated, like the long game versus the now and here and now? I feel like Freeman was back in a different time. Today, it'd be totally different for any one of us to be having this conversation. But Black, the long game versus the short game for Freeman, which one are you going with?
I like the long game because it wasn't. It's hard for them to figure out who the fuck was the man. See, later on, it's hard for them to figure out who the man is, who doing everything. Because if Freeman would have been on their ass from the jump, they'd have been like, okay, he back home. We know it's him.
Mm.
The only person that figured it out was his homie. But later, yeah, keep going. Like, I ain't gonna. I'm trying to just stay in whatever chapter y'all talking about. So I won't fucking.
Yeah. Somebody in the group is over here overachieving. We not saying no names though. The dinner.
Heero, I was
Yes,
gonna
sir.
say that point when you was talking about him getting sick, and I think that because he playing that long game, every time something like that come up, he got to hold it in.
Yeah.
And that's when
And
he
that's
lost
tough. It's
him
tough
losing.
when
Right,
you
it's
who
tough.
he
And
is.
when he's throwing up and his body reacting, I think that was his signal. Like, oh, it is time for me to go now. I can't do that.
And that was gonna be my point of this chapter. Your mind versus your body. Like you really get to see which they are both on different levels. Like I can bench press 400 pounds, but per knowledge, I'm 10 times stronger than my body will ever be. But like if I have a visceral reaction to something, that's something my mind can't even control. That's just my body telling me, I don't care what you think. This is it. And that's your gut feeling. And I think that was the epitome of gut feeling. Like, yo, this is your gut telling you it's time. Even if your mind thinks it's not the time, we're gonna have to collaborate and make it get out of free card, jail free card right here, right now. But there's a part of me that kind of wishes for all the bravado that Freeman has shown up into this point. Like I said, in my mind, he's the Black James Bond. One-on-one, that was your biggest enemy. The enemy that if you could convert right there and now, you make a world of difference. But we played the long story, and we got one more person joining in.
It's hard to fix stupid though, bro.
Man.
So
it is.
like if they have a willful ignorance, I'll be talking about that they have a willful ignorance to where they don't know whether or not because they don't know what's going on because they don't want to know. That's the thing. Like even if you figure it out, you see it, then you still don't care. So they willfully trying to be ignorant when it comes to what they would want to acknowledge. And that general was not one of them people you was gonna be able to change.
No,
You
definitely.
got this from 50 years ago too. Like this, not today. This 50 years ago.
Okay, white boy, what's up, bro?
Oh, we got news in the building. What up? Oh, he's muted, but he's just listening in.
He got to connect to the audio. You got to press that. There you go.
All right, but for chapter 7, I labeled chapter 7 the disrespect. Chapter 7 was full of disrespect, and for different reasons. And the one thing that stuck in my mind was the pocket knife. That's the thing that kind of labeled it out for me. But we'll go in order real quick. JB, what were your thoughts on chapter 7?
Man, I think a lot of things was coming to a head. So you think about the driver and Freeman, like the driver been wanting to interact with Freeman this way, and talking about him for leaving, like you don't even know what I'm up to, and then we go into like Freeman just get to that point, like he actually show himself for a second. He show himself to the driver, like I'm leaving, like, hey bro, you can't talk to me like this. Like I don't know who you think you are, I don't know what you think going on, but you can't approach me like that. And I don't know. I think that just speaks back to chapter 6. Like he was at that point, like I can't mentally hold it in no more. I can't deal with that. Whereas to your point, the disrespect or the lack of knowledge or whatever you are, like you're not gonna approach me however you want to.
Did you feel for some reason? The one thing I do like that they tell us about Freeman is the way he's dressed at all times, and he puts on this disguise that he's not this sharp, elegant, suave guy. He's doing the whole I'm a fly on the wall. You don't recognize me. You don't see me. Do you feel like this is a consequence of those situations like that?
he also dressed according to where he was at. Remember, his suit wasn't even like before he got back to Chicago. His suit was a little baggy
Yeah,
and loose. And now
but
he
but
gets to
he's
Chicago. He throwing defensive stuff. He got like business proper for Chicago.
but
Let niggas
and
know
that's
that
the thing that kind of baffled me is because he has the suits to be
So
accepted.
So they say they was talking about how you get to a certain point when you're in the CIA and you get tired of
But
being
yeah,
that fake person for so long,
mm-hmm.
and I think he just was hitting that wall.
Oh,
But
okay.
then the comparison that they was talking about, how black people are, we natural agents, and
yeah.
every single day, and he doubling down on that basically, from how he moving.
And
What
with that
about you?
argument with that driver, it was more so that he was getting sick of I don't like that's what I don't get. Cause the black dude see you doing better. The driver should have been the coolest motherfucker with him. They should have been friends off back. Like
Mm.
he should have already been able to be open with that driver because he was black. But instead he had to keep that role because that nigga was basically a house nigga. The driver
No,
was a house nigga.
oh for sure. What
Because
about
he
you?
driving. Go ahead.
Oh, finish up,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm good.
Rob. And Rob, as far as because I want to come back to the idea of black, but for chapter 7, Rob, was there anything that stood out for you?
I think you summed it up, like disrespect, and it wasn't just a disrespect between Freeman and the driver. Don't forget the president kept saying his name wrong.
Yeah. He gave that nigga the same gift he gave the Boy Scout.
Yeah, the pocket knife. The pocket knife. That pocket knife. That pocket knife was it. At that point, I was like, Freeman, if you don't blow this fucking building up, yeah,
not the president though.
So,
It'd be even worse.
He stole his lingo. Told his assistant, write that down. I'm gonna use that.
Write it down.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back. Let's go back real quick to the old heads versus the new heads. And I say this, and I say this all the time on the podcast. Our parents, God bless them, but they didn't do enough to put us in the position we want to be in right now. A lot of us, as 25, what the fuck am I talking? 18 and up, we've been taking care of our parents. Some of us, like we've been holding it down. And this is not a diss to them. My parents were great, but they didn't know anything about real estate. They didn't know anything about stocks. They didn't know anything about financial literacy. Like these are things that I have brought into our family. Me and my brother
the African. Your parents ain't know.
I mean, they came here, but I'm talking about in America. In Africa, I got 4 houses, no problem. But I'm here in America. I can
I'm saying most times the Africans come over and they be prepared, bro. It's like they have a better
prepared to the extent, but you got to think about it. We all went to high school with each other. It wasn't like I was at some prep college. The only reason why people probably even recognize me from sense just because I went to college on a scholarship. A lot of that was built, but if I didn't get into football, I'm paying for school. So it wasn't like they had everything thought out planned. Yeah, they made the one-off plan to come here to America, but yet and still, everybody that you're comparing yourself to in this book at least seems to be so much more prepared in Freeman to be part of this world. Freeman has to pretend that he's not prepared for this world. And that's where the old head versus the new head comes in, because you clearly see this mentality of this driver, not even to accept his job and his role, but it's that same scenario where you go to Foot Locker and it's one of your homeboys and they're like, oh, I can't get you with the discount. But the dude that comes in with the New Balance, the white dude with the New Balance, they all over him trying to get him the discount. It's like, where's your allegiance really lie? And are you the title versus the money? Like, after you can make as much money you want to, like I said, I know NFL players who are miserable in their 16-bedroom mansion. But I know people out here making ends meet who have the ability to laugh. And that's crazy to me.
They go to Miami when they feel like it, because they
Man.
be going on trips like a motherfucker.
Man.
What?
Hold the fuck on, like man. When did you have a job? You in Atlanta now?
Like you,
now you in Miami?
Hey, you acting totally different. You acting totally different.
I'm checking my bank account like, man, what am I doing wrong?
Man.
One thing from chapter 6 I found rather interesting. I know we moved on to chapter 7. Was when Freeman went on an international trip. I think he went somewhere in the East, like you said, Heero. and he realized he wasn't as good in the bed as he thought he was, he took a
did they say that?
No.
Did they say that?
No, they didn't say that. He's not. They're a lot more freaky. They're into things that he's not into.
He was saying they was more freaky, but he was like, but she said that he was good. Like,
yeah, he was good. But also, she didn't say he was great, because we know the woman in red said he was great. So this led me down two things. One, Freeman basic as hell in the bedroom, and two, all that Chinese anime. Yeah, all that Chinese anime shit, all that freaky shit we be seeing in the animes, that shit is real, man. They be on a different level of freakiness. It's like I watch anime and there's some stuff I be watching, I'm like,
it's some crazy ass animes, bro.
Yeah,
like it's one anime where dude get his powers from sucking titties.
Yeah, like that's crazy to me. But who approved this? It's like breast milk gives him power. Like, why? Why is that a thing? Why can't you just be a Super Saiyan like everybody else?
Yeah, you gotta, man.
But
I got some crazy ass anime. I don't watch it, but I got a bunch of that shit on the hard drive.
That shit makes, and also that's chapter 6 also continues the line of thought for me that a woman's going to be his downfall, because we'll move on to chapter 8, because this is when the pocket, just real quick on the pocket knife, because everybody's gonna be like, what's the pocket knife? The pocket knife, before Freeman went in to go meet the president, the Boy Scouts was in front of him, and he peeped game that as the Boy Scouts were leaving, they all had pocket knives. And when the president met with him, he gave in exchange a weapon for a weapon. Like, when you give someone a cutting tool, you should give them another tool. And Freeman gave him his tie clip.
His tie clip.
And a lot of people, like, they might fly over your head, but like the tie clip is in some, like, I don't know if it was the French or the Polish, but basically that's your first line of defense weapon. Like, it's used as a like an immediate, like a kill, because it's sharp edge, you can hide it, you can conceal it. It's one of, and it was sort of like this jab saying, like, bro, if we wasn't in broad daylight, I'd jab you in the neck right now. So I just found that to be like really interesting, and also, like, man, just the level of disrespect to be in the president's grace, get your name wrong, and it's not even one of these hard names. It's literally, it's just
nobody wants to be called a free man. Nobody wants to call a black dude a free man. Mm-hmm. That's what I like about his name. Because it's not hard. It's not hard to call him that. It's just no white dude is about to keep calling this black man a free man.
Yeah, I notice how they always call him Dan, and the black people call him Freeman. Yeah. Or they have another nickname for him. But let's push on to chapter 8. JB, what were your thoughts for chapter 8?
He feel like with Joy, she started talking about how she knew he was always this type of person, which is one thing, saying like, you still don't know nothing about him. You never knew anything about this man.
She feel like, cause he got his crib nice.
Yeah, like his crib nice. He making more money.
Which is a fake for him. It's completely fake.
like he just wanted, this is always who he wanted to be. What's good, Bart?
What's up?
What's up, girl?
Okay.
Oh, you you good? You woke up? You need some coffee, man?
Yeah. Well, that's crazy. I'm like,
no, you came late. We gonna have to talk to you, man. You okay? We gotta make sure you're okay.
Man. Hey, but I ain't get past chapter 10 though.
That's what you good. That's where you're supposed to be at.
That's where you're supposed to be at.
I'm like, man, Joe, I ain't gonna not miss another one.
All right, JB, continue.
So yeah, then they conversation, it just show how shallow she is. She settled. She let her husband do whatever he want to, as long as I can spend the money. You sound like I don't know. You sound like one of these basketball wives or something. Like she sound ridiculous.
Joy is really, her name should be, if we're being real, Joy's name should be Pain, because every time she comes on the screen, I just experience pain. And the whole wig thing, like, once again, Freeman's downfall, I haven't made it to the end of the book. If Freeman's downfall isn't because of a woman, I'll be happy. But it's clear that we're starting to see the flaws in our protagonist. He doesn't keep to a code. He only has this general focus on his mission, but his moral compass, I don't know if he has one, because once again, He's flying over the world. He's a young bachelor, do what they want. But married women, I feel, should be off limits, regardless of how miserable they are. But he clearly said he knows if she takes her wig off when she has sex or not, and that's only because they had sex. So, like, once again, Joy is a constant reminder of Freeman's flaws to me in this story. Rob, what did you see in chapter 8?
I don't think it's a flaw.
You don't think it's a flaw to be having sex with a married woman?
She's not married. She's married on paper, but mentally, she's never been married. She's only with that nigga because he got money.
But are you married or not? It's not. She's
not. She's not really married, bro.
No.
She went to his house. They didn't meet up outside.
The way that her husband moved, like, I think that was basically they intro to opening that door to him.
Yeah,
like,
I think her husband got bitches too, right?
No, of course. But my whole thing is like, once again, this is my slight on Freeman. He has his moral compass is flawed because, once again, Joy can do nothing for you but bring you pain. And, like, let's be real, they're both two people in high class society. If the story ever got out of their infidelity, it ruins his plan. He put his plan in jeopardy for a sexual tendency. Like, because all it has to be like, oh yeah,
but he a playboy. His whole look is being a playboy while he at home.
No, it's thought to, because once again, no one in high class society really knows. But he goes to the parties early, he leaves early. He always brings a woman with him, and he doesn't bring a woman with him, and he leaves without anyone. He has no identity in the world, and that's what he benefits from. So for him to be doing something so particular,
he's known as a playboy. I don't know if that's the next couple chapters, but yeah, he's known as a playboy.
But I mean, to be a young bachelor and still have their moral code, like, once again, if you are all about it, it's a conflict for me. If you all about this righteous Freeman and getting the job done, and you're letting yourself be dragged down by these other things, it leaves room for conflict, and that was my whole thing. But Rob, Rob.
You was going to Rob.
What did you see with chapter 8? Because my whole thing was diversity on chapter 8, but what did you think?
I like when Freeman got home to Chicago, his lingo changed immediately. He was comfortable. He was comfortable.
Yeah.
I was like, I like this Freeman. I like that he like called the dude.
He got to get books and everything.
Daddy or however he phrased it. I was like, I don't know about that, but I like this.
That's somebody's nickname, Daddy. That's somebody's name.
That's nobody named was Daddy. I was like, whoa.
Hey, I grew up with a dude named Fat Daddy, bro.
That's the name you get as a kid. They ain't shaking off.
And that's the only way. That's the only way we were able to call him.
Like, hey, to Black's point. Yeah, to Black's point.
I'm like, all right, fuck.
Yeah, there's a dude. I have an uncle. We call him Small Daddy, and we had another dude called Big Daddy. So, like, and as adults now, when you see them, you just want to say uncle, but then you just slip back and say, "Hey, what up, Small Daddy?" I'm like, did that just come out my grown ass mouth? Like, but they too old. Like, they a bunch of old heads. Like, you can't feel embarrassed about that. But so much happened in chapter 8. And we can
something happen 6 through 10. Like,
a lot happened. And the thing that I'm going to bring attention
20,
to,
man,
overachievers. The thing I want to bring attention to is the pool table, and that was sort of the stomping grounds. Because at this point, in the story, Freeman has decided to take on. He's left his DC lifestyle behind and decided to take on the director position of gang initiation or gang social work, and there's a bunch of processes. It's his first damn day in Chicago, and you think to himself like, oh, okay, you got a week or two to settle in. Freeman's on the hunt right away, and he makes his way to the gang's headquarters, and he plays on their table, and you can see the concern for Freeman. People tell him, oh, you could get a free rack on this table. Don't worry about it. Or, hey, come get a drink. Don't worry about it. And he's determined, as if he knows, like, no, this is the spot. This is where I want to be. And I just love the whole coming to the alley part, because the judo chop, that's what really got me laughing. When I saw that come across,
he does that.
He judo chopped the hell out of one of them boys.
Right there. He love that.
Hey, that shit had me dying. But then, he's still prepared. He knows he's not going to be able to take them in their youth, but he came prepared, and he knows how to articulate himself to the extent of getting their attention. How strange is it that in chapter 8, we start to see these parallels, especially for you, Black, because you were in the military. these parallels between the military and gang life. Like, is this a real life thing for you, Black?
Whoa. I mean, Rob a gangbang. No.
hey, I'm changing his name to Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh God, this man. All right, so with the well, how they was moving was more so how the gangs wanted to move. That's how he had to move, was how the gangs wanted to move, especially the Blackstones and the GDs. Mm-hmm. That's how they wanted to move. They wanted to be moved with hella discipline and everything. That's why a lot of the rules are basically based on that. And they come from it, you know, like the 6 Ps and shit. They come from gangbangers. They don't come from the military. And then I like how, but before he made it there, he was talking to his buddy about who he was. Like, he was a warlord beforehand. Mm-hmm. So that's why I didn't understand, like, how they not know that he was somebody. I mean, you know, they should know that he was that nigga, and you get respect off that. Once you like, you go get you was that nigga before, so they ain't gonna come at you off the wall like that.
But so the young, once again, it's
you mean the Cobras. So you talking about the Cobras didn't know who he was.
The Cobras,
yeah, they should have knew who he was.
Yeah.
Because he was a warlord just a couple years ago. That wasn't that long ago.
But this is to my point. It's almost one of those things like old heads versus new head. Old head people in the gang probably know him, but all these people are clearly new.
Yeah, he said
they the leaders though. No, buddy, he was with the leader, the treasurer, and the new warlord. Yeah,
oldest.
So they wasn't that new.
But the oldest was 16, right?
Yeah, the oldest one was
he was 19, I think.
19.
He was 19, the oldest one.
But so that means
if he been gone for 5 years, he don't know him.
Yeah, they don't know.
That's when games started back then. Larry Hoover was 17 when the GD started. You know what I mean? That's when they started, when they was young like that, and he knew them. So clearly that it was either their big brothers or something that was the man when they was little, and he knew they ass. Right. They knew him, so they should have known him, because back then that's when they did have structure.
But even knowing him doesn't keep him from like approach. Like, the fuck, man, you've been gone 5 years. What you did for me lately? It's about what you've done for me now.
Warlord. That's how it is nowadays. But back then, the respect was respect back then,
it was
bro.
different.
Yeah.
It was way different back then. Like, back, you motherfucker gonna know you. Just like now, if you go to jail, and once you hit that county and your ass fake GD, you gonna find out quick who, like, that shit way different than it is in the streets.
So then, what is the? We meet a lot of new characters here. We have we got the math guy, we got Dean, who is the leader of the group.
Yeah.
But he's also the smallest person in the group. We got Davis, we got Scott, we got Turk, and we got Stud. We meet a lot of
shooter.
Yeah, Stud's the shooter. One thing that
his name is Davis, right?
Davis and Stud are one and the same.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of comes up here is fucking with Whitey, and that's sort of like, this is what we want to start doing. And they talk about this disdain for, like, why should we be going after each other? Let's come up with this plan. And they all find a natural enemy. Well, how important is it for you as in this story, at this point in the story, to have a common enemy at this point? Like, do you feel like the theme, that's enough for you to, like, move forward? Because he kind of made fun of them, like, oh, y'all over here hitting pawn shops and, you know, in the middle of a riot, starting fires. So tough. So, like, what y'all really doing? Y'all shooting at people off of rooftops with bad artillery. Even the best shot would never hit anybody with a gun. Yeah, like, good luck. So, you know, if you're a Freeman and you saw this as a battleground state, are these the key people you would want to go to? Why did he go back to the Cobras, besides the fact he was one?
Because that's the main reason, shit. Because he was one, and then fucking he knew their numbers was the biggest.
He's not gonna let this shit go.
Nah, because even back then the biggest was the Black Peace Zone.
Mm-hmm. But I think even before that, the one thing I really appreciated about Freeman is, and you can tell by the way he moved, before he came to Chicago or got back to Chicago, he had a plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So he go to the agency, and then he basically let them know, hey, I'm going to try to start a relationship with the Cobras. And then the agency saw their hand and basically was like, "Oh, if you can do that, we can get this Ford grant."
Yeah.
So
That was the only people they didn't have a hand in.
exactly.
Everybody else they had a hand in because they was all really small and the same. What I like, okay, this goes back to chapter 1 through 5, because he spent that whole time learning the way they move.
Yep.
So he can train them military style, not even more so military style, intelligence style.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, that's how he got back. He like, okay, cool, I got these numbers. I'm about to train these niggas. I'm about to teach them. And at the end of the day, even after they learned, they wasn't gonna just be gangbangers no more.
Yeah,
Yep.
you have to be, even from disguising people being on drugs and pretending like, oh, let's pretend like, because the facade was to make sure that the cops and the people to the fuzz and everybody weren't catching on to their growth and development. Like he talks at extent, and I really enjoyed the fact that he doesn't discount the fact that what you are great at is what's going to keep you great. You all are proficient at being athletes, but the fact is, the reason why you weren't good in school is because school wasn't focused on teaching you, it was focused on keeping you disciplined. Like, of course, if you don't find, like the fact that the dude was reading college level calculus, as a person who took calculus, I can tell you that shit ain't no joke. So like the fact that he was reading it as a high school student.
Me and Jeremiah took it.
That shit was no joke though.
It wasn't. Like even as a college kid, I was like,
even when I went to college and took it again, I'm like,
you know, math wasn't the issue for me, so I ain't gonna pretend like it was tough for me. I ain't gonna
it wasn't tough, but
I ain't gonna pretend. Jeremiah actually wasn't tough for Jeremiah.
It wasn't
I always
tough.
call Jeremiah the good version of me. Like he who I would be if I wasn't in the life I chose before him.
Y'all both came out on top though, I feel like.
Hey, there it is.
So
Certain people you can't hold back.
And like I don't know if there was anything else anybody want to hit on chapter 8, but I want to push to chapter 9.
Yeah. Quickly on 8. I think so. Like thinking about Freeman, and this is me being unbiased about my upbringing in Chicago. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of my appreciation of men like Jeff Ford and Larry Hooper.
Yeah.
Because
and that's what I like about their bar. You know, they bar would have been the Fort. The Fort was a club where all the gangbangers.
That's what I kept thinking about. Like, these are the Black Stones, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They club was the Fort. Now every gang and all the gang leaders was able to go there and all the bullshit aside. Now the Lion King, they was all that. Everybody was there at the Fort.
And it's like he structured the gang in a way where like the Gangster Disciples, they were built up like a corporation. You got a board of directors, a chairman.
Yeah.
And it's like Larry, Jeff Ford, you really got to abide by these laws or else.
Yeah.
Structure, discipline.
Yeah, there ain't no pink slips in this job. You annex. And it spoke to something that Freeman, the ultimate plan, because Freeman basically gave them the heads up. You can't be a gangbanger your whole life. Eventually, you're going to end up in a line. You just going to have to choose unemployment or bread. Pick your...
Was he teaching? Well, like, okay, did y'all find out that Buddy Ass played instruments and shit and wrote poems?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we was there between 6 and 10.
Yeah. Okay. So for chapter...
He was trying to figure out what everybody was great at, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Chapter 9, chapter 9 is sort of a time skip because you get to see a few months into it, the agency has started to check up on, Freeman's progress at this point, but Freeman has also introduced them into their first conflicts. Like, I need to test you guys because all this training they've been getting, they haven't been tested. So he initiates them and tells them, go hit up this one gang. And JB, what were your thoughts on this fight? This gang clash?
It's not really
actually that's chapter 10. I'm skipping.
Was 9
9 was about it's still 9 we kind of covered 9. It's still about training. Chapter 9 was about identifying them, who they are, training with them. And
I thought like this whole time, like Freeman I talked to a lot of my guys about getting mentors, and
Mhm.
like Freeman, he bestows knowledge, he criticizes them, whatever, but he don't come to him without something to offer. And I thought that's what I was being able to
Mhm.
see kind of 8 and 9. Like I'm gonna tell you like what you're doing wrong and all the missteps you're doing, but I'm also gonna give you the tools that you need to elevate yourself.
Yep.
And that's what I was kind of seeing in 8 and 9. Um, and like you said, when he got on with the music and the math guy, and letting them be able to see like this what y'all good at, this who y'all are,
And this who
and
y'all really are.
right, this who y'all really are. Y'all not just y'all don't have to be pigeonholed. So that's what I was starting
Yeah,
to pick up
when
on.
they brought slaves over here, they didn't bring slaves. They brought doctors, lawyers, engineers, electricians. Like they brought the youth of a nation, and then they were reduced to slaves. So like, never forget who you are,
Even though a lot of them niggas was already here. So
man. And the thing that a lot of people aren't going, and they even talked about like that about, you know, chapter 10 was super involved. Chapter 10 needed to be longer, in my opinion, because they talked about, getting getting that pride out of the trunk, and how important it is for us to remember that the songs these after they had beaten up and people started dying on the plantation field, and then all of a sudden people started surviving, and they try to figure out why certain slaves would survive on the field and others would die. And then he was like, just listen to the music. The secret is in the music on how to survive in these intense times. And it just talks about the resilience and what it's going to take in order for us to get our pride out of the trunk. So that's when the fight comes into place. Rob, like, what was your idea of this battle, of this set? Because it's
So,
not a big thing. The fight wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. It was 2 pages
so
at that.
in my in my eyes, it kind of reminded me of the fight that Freeman had with
Calhoun.
Calhoun,
Mhm.
right? Because it was more so Calhoun had this disdain in his heart, similar to the what do they call it, the Comanches or something like to that
Yeah.
extent. And he was like, "Look, they gonna keep feeling this way about y'all unless y'all show them something." So in my mind, it was just that. It was a little show and tell.
Who's the Apaches?
The
Mm-hmm.
Apaches, yeah.
More than just
hey,
junkie.
okay, now y'all seen the Warriors before, right?
Mm-mm.
You
Mm-hmm.
never seen the Warriors?
Mm-mm.
This
Warriors.
how they set up their games, bro. The way the
Yeah.
Warriors movie set up, this is how they try to set Chicago games up. That's what I didn't like about it. Like a
Mm.
warlord, that's some Warriors shit. Like you know we have real names, bro. It wasn't
Yeah.
no motherfucker. We was a
Yeah.
corporation set up, chairman, enforcing shit like that. A warlord, bro. That's all from. Watch the movie Warriors, bro, because it's actually a good movie. But you'll be like, okay, they tried to set this shit up just like that, bro.
Yeah.
As far as the game,
Yeah. Did
He also talked to him at this point about being prepared to take over. Like, a movement always stop when the head always get cut
yeah.
off.
And
Uh,
you see how he told him like, I don't even know if this is on those chapters. Keep going.
but he was just telling them like y'all got to be ready to to take over in case I'm gone. Like I don't want y'all to make a big scene out of this. Like
Yeah,
I'm gone, just keep moving. You know
no?
what I'm
keep
saying?
moving. And that
Freeman.
was Freeman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freeman
Okay, yeah,
has
because Danny was
plans.
talking about it.
Freeman has plans, and this chapter 10 maybe asks a question: Is does Freeman's plan make sense? Because
It's more so on the verge of Michael B. Jordan and Black Panther.
yeah, very
That's who
similar to
Freeman is.
Killmonger's plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does your plan make sense? Because Freeman, let's talk about Freeman's plan. Freeman's plan is to create this underground of tension that will divide this, because right now a major war is going on in America. So
Mhm.
the attention of the government will be split and divided between the war and trying to stop this movement, this underground movement happening in multiple states. So he wants to start in Chicago with this gang, get certain leaders to then disperse to the Harlems, to the Atlantas, to the Dallases, to then propagate this swell and grow. And there was two things that immediately said to me, that was like, no, people have tried this in history already and they failed. Ask Caesar about it. Ask the Germans about it. Ask anybody who's tried to divide and conquer. This only works if your initial punch is big enough to catch attention. And
But you know why? You know why they split up?
I mean,
because this is in straight America. You split up. Okay. Now, if you only doing it in one state, they can send as many National Guard or military as they want to that one place. But you got to remember, the numbers are not in favor. Back then, especially probably, fucking now, it's only 4 million military servicemen with like less than 1%, right? So you got, for the Marine Corps, we less than 200,000. Then you got the Army that takes on about 2 million people, but that's including their reservists and the National Guard and all of that. And then you got the Navy, which is less than, just a few 100,000. And you got the Air Force, which is a few 100,000. So the numbers are not big. And you can't just throw no fucking sailors or no Air Force guys straight into combat area situations, especially in small, compact areas like that, because they're not trained for it. So the way he's training them, and then once you spread them out, now you fucking spreading their numbers out.
No,
and I'm not sure what chapter that was that they were talking about bringing somebody over. Other than, hold on, did they bring the general over by chapter 10? Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
That's for chapter 18.
That's why I say I'm gonna just follow along with y'all and then say something, so I don't want. I know I'm pretty sure fucking a couple of y'all at this point too what I'm talking about. But
I'm at that point, but I'm just
writing it down.
Yeah.
I'm not writing it down. I'm just
Go ahead, JB.
So what was the question? No, what was the original question
again? My whole thing was, do you think his plan is going to work? Like, basically, he has this idea of divide and conquer. Do you think this is a good plan?
So I like to, what we talking about, I always think about numbers, but anybody kind of think about the Nation of Islam while you thinking about what he doing?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But there's a clear difference in the structure and the grandiose of it, because Malcolm X wasn't thinking on a national scale. He might have had national support, but he never once thought about, how do I get this movement going down in Florida? How do I get this movement going down in North Carolina?
That was the plan. No, that was
that's
the plan.
What the plan was.
That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason. Muhammad had Malcolm X go out there. He said, "We need numbers. Get out there and give us these numbers."
Get his numbers. To your point,
now you're looking too big.
Exactly, and that's my thing. Like, eventually, you become a big enough target, and that was the dividing issue right there. Malcolm X was the target, and with Malcolm X was the power. But with Freeman, he is once again still held to this idea: even if I'm the leader, no one will know it. Not even the people who are in the group.
It's because they're underground. They wasn't making moves with political, like with ads and shit, basically like that. Yeah. They wasn't having church settings. They were just saying, okay, got this game, and we're gonna explain the shit to them, and that's how we're gonna move. It's not gonna be loud. We're gonna still do the thing, make it look like we doing the regular same game banking shit, but we're gonna pass this shit on and make it bigger than that, because they having real meetings.
To your point though, Heero, like, when the part that was important about him telling them, like, y'all need to keep moving if I'm not here, that's why a lot of those movements stop, because when the head is gone, they in, and he's planning ahead for that. So I'm gonna give y'all the things that y'all need if this continues to go on and on and on, and we continue to move in this same process.
But the way the movements ended, like, it wasn't just the head that they took out of any of these movements. They took the whole top, the whole board. So they say they got Larry Hoover, and then with the GDs, they took everybody. Everybody was indicted. They took everybody. So basically, Larry Hoover's locked up, and then anybody he's passing knowledge on, that's who's getting locked up. And then they left only separate ass groups of people that wasn't already together. And when it comes to the Black Panther Party, they killed everybody on top. And they, everybody that was a part of any movement in every area. And then when it came to the Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam was a complete fraud inside and out. It was only Malcolm X and a few others who was standing on top of what they were saying. So they was like, okay, we got him. And it was the Nation who killed him. That's why I told y'all to watch that Who Killed Malcolm X. because it was them who killed them, because they had other plans for themselves, and then the way it went down with Muhammad, it was trifling, bro.
Yeah, they had a mindset. But Rob, if you had to sum up for chapter 10, what was your thought on this? Do you think this plan would have worked, like in reality?
It honestly, I feel like it depends, and I say that because, like a lot of people mention, loud movements don't go nowhere for a long period of time, right?
Remember, I made that post.
Mm-hmm.
I made that post that we can sit around and have a plan moving, but somebody's gonna be posting everything we're talking about in these meetings, so they're gonna be able to set up what they're gonna do afterwards, and that's what helped them out because nobody was saying anything. They
But
wanted to be able to set up on it.
yeah, the thing about, and to your point on that, because everybody talks about loud movements, the loudest movement in the decade is the Black Lives Matter movement, and that movement has no leaders, has no form, has no identity, but yet you would hear it and you immediately understand what they want, what they need, and their demands, and it's shocked the world. So there is this counter argument that if you're loud enough that you can't sleep anymore, you can't think clearly whenever, because when you see BLM, there's some people there's these woke 2.0 black people who just don't like, no, Black Lives Matter, they're a terrorist organization. Aren't you black? Oh yeah, I'm black, but it's like,
It's just more so that, like, since they don't have no real structure, anybody can say that, so they take the blame for everything that's
exactly.
going on.
It's easy, but as easy as it is to blame them, is also the same way to say, well, if you just do what they say, then this person would go away. Somebody said this the other day, like, dang man, why do these rioters keep burning down our cities? And it's like, man, that's plan C. Plan A was just to arrest homeboy. Plan B was to say, hey, we're not going to kill you anymore. And now that y'all skip plan A and plan B, yeah, we got to burn some shit down. Like, your target got to go. That's the least you're worried. But I like to think that a lot of, especially civilians, we forget our numbers. There are more ants than there are kings and queens in any hive. The workers, Amazon would cease to exist if everyone took a day off from work at all their fulfillment factories. It's just that simple. Amazon will lose billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in one day if they all went on strike as a group. But it's unity that this team is lacking. And for some strange reason in this story, unity is not something they're lacking. So this gives me the belief that their plan will work. But that would end.
But it can work in real life also, because
Absolutely.
you have the military members that are black. That's not gonna be like, I'm not about to go and kill my people.
No,
we're gonna go out there.
But aren't they though? And this will lead into our open discussion.
You got something that's gonna do it.
I know sure.
That's constant out there. Pull their mom over and give them tickets. For fucking
crazy.
I know these people, but you got the ones that's like me, bro. Like, if I was in the service, they was like, all right, y'all got to go out here. Like, hell no.
Because we saw it this year.
I'm leaving with all these weapons in my group.
we saw it this year where people in Portland and people in Minnesota, that they had armed forces called into these protests, and these military, one rioter and one protester in Seattle was shot by a serviceman. And it's just one of these questions, like, your whole entire identity is to protect and serve our nation, and here you are killing our First Amendment right, literally. Like,
you also had the ones up in the cops up in Detroit that marched with the protesters.
But I'm also
like, all right, cool, we gonna throw with y'all. Shit, we agree with everything y'all saying.
But and I feel like that's sometimes a false flag, but I'm not going to decline it. But at the end of the day, I had a podcast where I showed multiple side by sides. Here's a dude taking a knee with the protesters, and then here's that same dude 6 hours later beating someone up with a baton. Like, they understand how to.
They put their weapons up and everything. These niggas out there, just like you had that cop who was making that video and lost his damn job because he had that video.
Yeah,
but he was black in the wrong place.
Yeah. So, like, there are certain people who will awake and be like, all right, yeah, we're a tyrannical government and we're not going to do this to our people. But at the same time, do you guys feel like the parallels to this book and what's currently going on, they can't be denied? Like, there are some parallels. Go ahead, JB.
I think the one thing that the book got that we struggling with is unity.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, and it's very evident, and we've talked about it a little bit, you know, from a standpoint of whether it's the elite black or whatever you want to call it, elite black, and people that's trying to make it, and then whatever level you are socioeconomically, and then we got a split men versus women, and it's just like if we could just come together, maybe we could figure out how to move forward. That's
We
always
fight the biggest issues first, and then go and then scroll down to the smaller ones. Or
right.
if y'all want to go the smaller to biggest, it could be
It's
that way. But we gotta be standard. Like we have to have one fight at a time.
right. Or
That's
if
the
we
biggest
right,
issue with the
that's the
Democrats.
biggest
They
thing.
fighting every fucking thing at one time,
But you
and
kind of
nobody knows.
have
Like
to. You kind of
you
have.
can't.
You have to be a master of all trades. In the world full of evil, you have to be versatile. It,
It's
it,
not going to happen. That's the reason that the Republicans they succeed so well because they only fight in one thing. Their only thing is to hold you back. So they that's it. So now when with you trying to fight everything that they put in place already, and y'all group spread up. So it's me fighting 17 people.
That's the system. It's
I'm
for
gonna
you
get
to
my ass beat. I can fight one
you
person really
distract.
well, but with everybody else helping, it ain't gonna look that good.
there's so much going on. This brings up the question of Ice Cube's whole contract, and Ice Cube talked about his contract, and someone had to point out on Twitter, like, my guy, you're not saying anything new. We know all of this, and we have people
Yeah.
fighting this battle for us on the Hill. Why would you not go to these people versus Trump? So it's this question of, even if we do have unity, are we moving together in the correct direction is often the question. And small battles versus little battles. JB, did you want to finish something up?
No, so it kind of to that Ice Cube thing. It's like I just if have y'all ever read the book Art of War?
We probably got to add
No,
that
I've
to
read
the next.
excerpts
We
from
can
it.
add that to the next one.
The concept of the book is to understand your enemy, so then you know how to approach your enemy to overcome your enemy.
Yeah.
And what we know about Trump is he'll do whatever you want to if he think you his friend or you are treating him like a human or
Entertainer wise, he like. That's what we were talking about. I can't think of the black sports lady that be talking that shit. What's her name? I know y'all know her.
you talking about
Hill?
She's your
Jamel Hill?
host.
Jamel Hill.
Jamel Hill. Yeah, she pointed out to how the difference with the way that Trump them look at black people. Just like in the movie Do the Right Thing, how the piece of guy looked at black people, and Spike Lee was talking to him. He's like, yeah, how, you got all these black people on your wall that you praise and everything, but then you treat us bogusly, like fucking you treat the black people that come to your store wrong. He's like, these are different type of black people. And it's
Mhm.
just the entertainers and stuff like that. You got the entertainers, the white people love. They'll do whatever, they're like, okay, we'll do whatever they say. But this nigga that's buying my food every day, just another nigga.
Oh
And they
man,
don't see y'all the same.
man.
But with the Ice Cube thing is, I fucked with it because I've been following it, but I felt like he should have just backed up T.I. shit. I feel like T.I. shit was a better move for us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but even
I thought it was
T.I.'s
a better move for like if either one of them just came together, bam.
So,
but
Because
so
T.I. shit is
this where I was going with that is like I think that they have a platform as athletes, entertainers, and everything like that. But there are social justice people fighting the issue. But I think it's a process. Like you have to like break down the door. Like you see the NBA players putting the pressure on the owners. Now, at a certain point, y'all have to invite the rest of the movement in. But with Trump, he one of those people. Like if we all came in together at him, he just gonna close the door. And that's just how I look at like when I talk about the
but you
black
got to come in
thing.
like on some
Like
Kanye
with
shit.
Kanye West, like he came in there and doing all of this, like, but he doing whatever Kim Kardashian want. Now, do you
But
think
that's
he
the
gonna
reason
do
Kanye
whatever
came in
Kim
there
want?
like that. That's the
Right.
reason
That's
Kanye
why
went in there
Kanye
like that. He
came
went in
in
there
there
on some
like
old
that.
I'm your friend ass shit.
Right.
And then as soon as that bust down, like, man, we getting these people out of prison.
Yeah. Like I don't
But
think that Trump is
but it's
working with
only
her like
federal
that
prison.
without
Yeah.
that. And that's just who he
Without
is.
that
And
without that celebrity.
right. And sometimes somebody gotta take that first bullet or whatever you want to call it.
But is it a consequence of celebrity spotlight versus continuity? Because the truth is, to our knowledge, right now, Kim Kardashian is making this great movement about people being removed from prison for small small petty crimes. But on a realistic level, the Trump administration has just not put the same focus of emphasis on it. The Obama administration, in the 4 years in the 8 years that they've been in, had let out thousands more people out of prison, but there was no
But they
celebrity
were turned
behind it.
down. Yeah, but they was
Can I-
turned down a lot too, though. Like that, with his prison reform, they turned that shit down off back. And with Trump
Exactly.
shit,
But I think the
What-
other thing about that is Trump. Trump don't know what he doing, and I think
Of
we
course
hold
not.
him to that standard
Yeah.
too. Like what
but you
Obama
bring it,
was
depends
doing,
on who bring it to him.
right? Trump don't even have no clue what he doing, and
No.
going back to kind of the art of war, and what Black was talking about with the Republicans, they got one agenda. Like they gonna support him. If he bring it to the floor, they still gonna support him as Republicans.
Yeah,
We still
but
gotta be in control.
Even though they let the people out, his attorney general still trying to get them all put back in jail. It's not like fucking they let people out. They still fighting some of them to go back to jail.
So
they still fighting for that.
And that's why I say
don't name that shit.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's a celebrity, because with the Obama administration, when they were let out of jail, that was the end of it. But here, somebody might have beat the federal charges, but then the state comes in, or the attorney general from the district comes in and is like, oh no, bruh, you still had 6 or 7 other charges that we just didn't pursue because we knew we had you with this. So like, Rob, are the parallels of this story, like, what do you think? Because this is our open discussion, so like, you've been over there silent. What's up?
I'm reading the email, to be honest. But
because Ice Cube and T.I.'s plan, it's bullshit. Like
the Trump administration is like they're helping you with the left hand to smack you with the right hand.
Right.
And it's
like, and then they put that shit in the media though, and black people jump on board.
And JB is like, yo, we gotta stick together. So I feel like what should have happened before Ice Cube agreed to meet with Trump, I feel like he could have tapped in with T.I. They both started in the rap game. Hey yo, bro, what's going on with this Laws of London thing? Man, such and such reached out to me. Hey, come with me. Come with me. You more educated on this Laws of London.
Let me. Because I've already done research on this. Okay, one, T.I. and Ice Cube's plan. They're both bullshit. I've already read them both. They don't include the whole entire black diaspora. They don't include gay, transgender, single, black. Like it's a very black male.
That's okay, but that's what I see. That's not the same, bro. I don't feel like that should be added on to just being black, bro. That's the battle thing I'm saying.
But that's the thing that
when
starts it off.
Just for black, why the fuck we gotta add on all the extra stuff?
Because before you're gay, you're going to be black. So you
that's
have
my
to.
Point. So you just say you're black.
But at the same time,
if you're gay or not.
But you still have to think and that's why the plans fall into face, because there are already people in the Black Congressional Congress who have already made plans way better than this, who have already thought this out, who have already fought these battles. There was 7 things itemized on his list that were already being pushed through bills in the House. Yeah, so the thing was, he didn't reach out to the appropriate source. 2, Ice Cube clearly was doing this for financial purposes, because he was in himself looking for support from Steve Bannon, and everyone who knows who Steve Bannon is, he's a fascist racist. So you're going to the wrong side for the wrong reasons. And 2, what you're selling, you want to be the face of. So your immediate interest falls down, and that's why I make this parallel between Ice Cube and Freeman. Freeman doesn't want to be seen in this movement that he's trying to propagate, while Ice Cube wants to be the face of it. And that is why he didn't want to reach across the aisle.
See, the one with T.I. is not more so fucking. He don't want to be like he's doing it because he's T.I. And at the same time, he said openly that fucking it's not just me. It's not just me. Anybody that want to come in, and then you watch the Roland Martin show, he had both of them on there, and then they have people that's coming in, politicians and everything, like, okay, look, we can reach out to y'all and we can help y'all with certain stuff, like as far as everything, festivals and everything. They come and help in, like bring in what we can. We all work together to do this. That's the best way to do it. That's why I like T.I. shit better. just off the strength that that whole group, that whole thing that they got set up is super open for input and for others' input and stuff like that. So it's just like, yeah, we talk to the politicians. They like, man, we can move in, take my number down, Roland. He like, Roland, get him my number right now. Go to the site right now, put that shit on the site right now. And I was posting that shit. I posted the site. I gotta go back and find it. I'll repost that shit. So pretty much anybody going there and say what we need to say, because fucking it's a good move because of all the people that Lords of London back and all the people that fuck with them. The money won't be a big issue, like, because only one person in our history got reparations, one black dude, and that's kind of fucked up.
Definitely.
I think that we just need before we even step into any kind of table. I don't care who you is, like celebrity, non-celebrity, activist. Like, we need to figure out a space where we can all just collaborate and have our own ideas. Like, what was one of my problems when Jay-Z went and stepped in with the NFL is like, it almost made it seem like you were saying, forget what Colin doing, we doing something completely different now. And
but
it's like
that's how the media made it seem, bro.
that's how they made it seem. But he also, we passed Neil and all of that, and he didn't acknowledge Colin and what he did either.
That's what, but he said, like, we passed in, like, okay, now what's next?
But no,
that's the black.
But are
issue.
we
like,
past? Are we past kneeling though?
Are we?
I'm saying, what are we gonna do other than just kneel?
You can't say what everybody should be thinking or feeling and telling people that. Like, I feel like publicly we need to do better as showing a unit, like, because we dividing. Like, when you come out publicly and you sound divided, that is doing exactly what the opposition want. We gonna just be fighting all these 17 battles that we talking about. But if we could find a space, like, whoever the leaders are, y'all need to work together, figure out how.
We don't have a black leader.
And that's what I'm saying. We need to figure that out. We got all these
Freeman.
people that want to do all of this stuff.
If you got a board, that
need to be contacted.
We don't have a leader.
Nobody wants to be the black leader. That's what.
Well, no, you got all the fakes that's calling themselves the black leaders. You got Farrakhan goof ass. You got.
I'm gonna tell you, like, even
professional fucking what I call Umar goof ass, the professional fundraiser.
So I work for State Farm, and like, all the powerful black men at State Farm, it's a very small circle. Like, I'm very hard pressed to bring up one of them and they be like, oh no, we work with this person. He know them. Like, they talk about how they friends, like they interact and they move together. And I notice how, like, a lot of the efforts that we talk about and moving forward, even in the company, like, they doing some crazy stuff, like diversity wise, but it ain't never like any of these black leaders seem divided. Never. Like, it's always one voice, and they have meetings behind the scenes, but every time they come to the forefront, it's one voice. And this is how we moving. And I think that's where the book is with Freeman.
But also with your job, y'all have a main focus. That's the problem. I keep saying, like, we don't have a main fucking focus.
And that's why we need to get together first and figure that out. That's what I'm talking about.
But who the fuck are we trusting to come together?
It's a lot of people in the forefront right now. They need to be figuring out, get on a Zoom call, whatever y'all need to do.
No more. Hold on.
To work. Like, it ain't nothing to pick up the phone and be like, hey man, you trying to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. And that's what I never understand. Like, I don't get it, So
no, definitely. I mean,
think about MLK and Malcolm X, like, we still trying to accomplish the same thing. Like, we might.
They came together. That's the reason.
They did. But what I'm saying is,
remember,
like,
the Afro group that Malcolm X tried to bring.
No,
I'm
definitely.
Just saying, when you coming out divided. No,
definitely. There is. I mean, this is a conversation that can go on for hours, but that is our hour. As far as the book club is concerned, we can definitely finish this off air, but we all have lives, and what we try and do here
It's
today.
Sunday for me though, boys. I'm off.
Hero just got the text, man. He trying to get up out of here.
Hey, y'all already saw the look on my.
Hero got to get a nap in to be.
Hey, bro, yeah, that is black
in.
right. Like I've been up since 6 a.m. yesterday doing surgery, so I'm already tired. But this has been the Books and Beyond Male Book Club. We appreciate you guys coming on. We had Rob, JB, and Black. All appreciate you guys. We reviewed chapters 6 through 10. We're gonna push on for 11 through 15, 14,
Yeah.
11 through 15 next week. Our goal here is to try and
and then on my B day, I might be in some type of jacuzzi or something.
You can still get your phone out. You can put your phone on the corner and talk to us on the jacuzzi. Ain't that special?
You already done with the book, man. So you might as well go.
Yeah, you can get on. You can get on. Our goal here is to constantly try and reinforce the idea that Black men can have educated, developed conversations and be unified in these conversations. Hopefully, you guys will be able to join us with this. Leave your comments and like, share this with your fellow brothers and sisters. There's a new image out there that we're trying to push, and it doesn't have to just be us. You guys can make your own group. We do this every Sunday. You guys can do it too. So we appreciate you guys. Any sign-off messages you guys got for us?
I'm gonna create a WhatsApp so that way we can just have a little tech group to talk this shit on a regular basis. Outside of the book and everything else, we can talk everything.
All right, JB.
I ain't got nothing, man. Good luck to the Bears, man. We looking good so far. Let's keep it rolling.
Rob, what's good?
Hey, it was an article released recently about this billionaire guy being accused of $2 billion in fraud, and it's a Caucasian man. They ended up putting Robert Smith, his photo on the article, and that shit rubbed me the wrong way. But,
Robert F. Smith, yeah.
Hey.
I saw that article.
Character.
Yeah, that for sure. Hey, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen, but we appreciate you guys joining us for this. We'll catch up, guys. Take care. All right.